So, hi guys, this is the solution to the Aptitude Scan 1 that I had taken with all of you, and this is the solution of the Aptitude Scan 1 of the arithmetic part. So we are continuing, and I'll continue doing the next Aptitude scans as we keep going forward. You do follow the series because it will give you a very strong, and you might be preparing for any aptitude exam, whether you're preparing for CAT or you're preparing for UPSC or CLAT or IPMAT or CSAT, UPSC CSAT तो बोल ही दिया मैंने, बैंक पीओ या कोई भी एग्जाम के लिए तैयारी कर रहे हो, तो ये set of questions will help you take your preparation to the next level. So do follow this thing, do share the videos, and do subscribe to the channel. So here goes. The questions you have seen in a previous video. Those of you who have not seen can also see the questions now. So I'm just going ahead with my first question. और ये question जो बोल रहा है, the question is saying P and Q are two opposite ends of a straight running track. So I mean, in any question in aptitude, whether you're solving in practice or you're solving inside the exam, the focus should be to actually keep reacting to what is written. So ये पहला जो लिखा है यहाँ पे, so उससे क्या होता है कि you end up only taking some parts of the problem for discussion. So P and Q are two opposite ends of the straight running track. So P and Q are two opposite ends of a straight running track. ठीक है, ये हो गया. Ria and Tia start running towards each other simultaneously from P and Q respectively. So sort that out. Ria is running and Tia is running from P and Q respectively. They start at the same time. As soon as any of them reaches an end, she turns back and starts running towards the other end. The first meeting happens at a point 210 meters away from P. So what you are told is, as soon as somebody reaches an endpoint, whether it's Ria or it's Tia, they start coming back to their original position. Okay? So that much is okay. And it says as soon as any of them reaches an end, she turns back and starts running towards the other end. And so that we've understood. So the next line says the first meeting happens at a point 210 meter away from P. So when you talk about first meeting, the first meeting is given as 210 away from P. Now the immediate thought is okay, this distance I don't know Q se kitna distance, because if I know the distance from Q, then I'll also be able to transfer this ratio of distances of Ria and Tia, the ratio of distances traveled by Ria and Tia, इसको मैं transfer कर सकता हूँ into ratio of speeds of Ria and Tia, because time is constant. The time for which Ria has traveled this distance and the time for which Tia has traveled this distance, that's constant. So I can transfer the ratio of distances to ratio of speeds. So I don't know that right now. And then they say the second meeting happens at a point 150 meters away from Q. And तो सेकंड मीटिंग जो होता है Q से 150 मीटर्स पे. So अगर ये P है, if this is P and this is Q, if this is P and this is Q, so the second meeting is happening 150 meters away from Q. Right? And then they tell me, now we don't know at this point, we don't know whether this is because the second meeting is happening because Ria reaches the end point and comes back, or Tia reaches her end point and comes back. We don't know that yet. Okay? Because we don't know till this point, we don't know whether Ria is strong faster or Tia is stronger. Please remember, I'm solving this during my first reading. So I've not read the end of the problem and then starting to solve. I am reacting to what I'm reading here, and based on that, excuse me, based on that, I'm solving this question. So the speeds in meters per second of Ria and Tia are x and y. Now this tells me the speeds. Ria का speed x है and Tia का speed y है, respectively, such that 2x greater than y greater than x. That means, first of all, when you see 2x greater than y greater than x, first of all, you have to understand, that y is greater than x. That means TR speed is larger. So what you know immediately is that this is more than 210. And because this is more than 210, this second meeting is happening. I mean, from this point, where this point is, let's say Ria's first position is this, and Tia's first position is this. Ria's second position is this place, which is 210 meters from P, and Tia's second position is this place again, which is some distance from Q. We don't know the distance. Let's call this the point M. So point M पे कितना distance Q से है to M, we don't know. But what is happening definitely is that amongst these two people, it is actually Tia who will reach the end point and come back here. Tia will reach the end point and come back to this distance, this thing. So they have closed the question at this point, and because Tia is faster, so she'll reach the end point first before Ria. It might happen that Ria is only continuing in this point and she gets caught up, right? Or it might happen that Ria has gone all the way and come back. Which one of this is, that this tells me. Why this part is mentioned is that Tia speed is more than Ria speed, but less than double of Ria speed. अगर टिया का स्पीड डबल से ज्यादा होता, अगर ये y का वैल्यू 2x से ज्यादा होता, इफ इट्स पॉसिबल, तब ये भी पॉसिबल है कि टिया फिनिशेस दिस पॉइंट एंड कम्स बैक एंड कैचेस अप एंड रिया इज स्टिल ऑन दैट पॉइंट. But agar because the speed is less than 2x, Tia speed is less than double. So because of that, what is going to happen is Tia is not going to be able to catch up on Ria before Ria hits the end point. So Ria का भी ये distance end point से cover करके होगा, right? Because why? Let me just explain this again. अगर Tia का speed 2x से ज़्यादा है, what will happen is Tia will finish this distance and this distance, twice d, before Ria finishes d. That means Ria will get caught up before she reaches Q. But because this is less than 2x, that means that Ria ka also you can make out that she is traveling this. So the question is asking, what is the distance between P and Q? So first of all, if you look at the options, 420 can be easily eliminated, because if you take 420 here, this is going to be 210, and that's going to be that would mean that Ria and Tia ka speed same rahega. So this one I can eliminate. 480, at 480, this is 270, which means that the speed ratio is 7:9. Ria ka speed to Tia ka speed is ratio 7:9, because when Ria is traveling 210, Tia is traveling 270. So if I take 480 as the whole distance, ये बीच का distance, because this is 210 and this is 150, ये बीच का distance 120 हो जाएगा. So I just need to see that Tia going from T2 to T3. From T2 to T3, Ria is going to take 210 meters here and a further 330 meters. So Tia is traveling 540 meters. Now T2 to T3 का जो distance है, वो distance Tia का movement and Ria का movement from R2 to R3 is also in the same time. It's in the same timeline. So that basically means that the ratio of speed should be the ratio of distance. Right? Now we know that ratio of speed according to this, if I've taken 480, is 9:7, and Tia ka 540 should be corresponding to 9, and Ria ka 7, since 9 is corresponding to 540, that means the multiplier is 60. So Ria should travel 420 meters to reach the point R3, where she reaches the second meeting point. And if you look at Ria's movement, it's 270 plus 150, which is indeed 420. and 9:7 is the ratio. अगर तुम किसी गलत ऑप्शन से इसको ट्राई करोगे, if you try with 540 or 500 or any other value, you will see that the speed ratio will not match at this point, and hence this becomes the answer to this question. Let's look at the second question. The second question is this one. This is the second question. A 2-liter water alcohol mixture, M1 contains 40% water, while 1 liter water alcohol mixture contains M2 contains 70% water. So the reaction to this question to start with is, I've got a 1 liter water alcohol mixture with 40% water, and this is M1, and I've got M2, which is 70% water. Fine, इतना तो मिल गया हम लोग को. XML is taken out from each of these two mixtures and put in two separate containers. So इसमें से XML निकाला, और इसमें से भी XML निकाला. The quantity taken out from M1 is mixed into the remaining part of M2, and the quantity taken out from M2 is mixed in the remaining part of M1. So basically what this is not put here, actually this is going into that. So you're introducing XML into this picture, XML of 40%, और इसमें you are introducing XML of 70%. तो जो M2 से निकाला वो M1 में डाला, M1 से जो निकाला वो M2 में डाला. So M1 में 70% का XML आ रहा है, and M2 में 40% का XML आ रहा है. And basically the amount left for in M1 of the 40% is going to be 1000 minus X, because you're taking out X, and the amount here of the 70% is 1000 minus X. This is the reaction at this point. Now the question says, after this, if the two mixtures contain equal quantities of water after the operation, that means you're mixing X of 40% plus 1000 minus X of 70%. If you're doing that, this you're doing inside M2, and inside M1, you're mixing X of 70%, and you're mixing 1000 minus X of 40%. This you're doing inside M1. And they're saying that the quantity of water is equal. That means basically, since you're mixing X plus 1000 minus X, you in both M1 and M2, you at the end have 1000 ml each. So if the quantity of water is equal, the percentage of water is equal. So this can only happen if the ratio is 1:1 in both cases. I mean, if you think about allocation, if I've got 40-70 in one ratio, and I've got, if the ratio here R1 to R2 is, let's say, if this ratio is R1 to R2, and I've got another mixture of 40-70, and that ratio is R3 R4, if that ratio is R3 to R4, and I find a percentage for this, and I find a percentage for that, and I realize that both the percentages are equal. This can only happen when R1 by R2 is equal to R3 by R4, and that can only happen when X by 1000 minus X is equal to 1000 minus X upon X. And so symmetrically, you don't need to do all this. I'm just explaining this algebraically also to you. X upon 1000 minus X and 1000 minus X upon X should be equal. And this can only happen at X is equal to 500. The ratio should be equal. That's the whole logic. So C is the answer. And you can actually close this, logically you can close this much, much earlier. Okay, let's look at the third question. Arjun and Bhim are standing at point A on a circular track with circumference 300 meters. ठीक है. So you got a circular track with circumference 300 meters, and let's say Arjun and Bhim are traveling at standing at point A on the circular track of circumference 300 meters. Cherry is standing at point B, which is diametrically opposite A on the track. So Cherry is standing on point B. I've put the points under circular listing so I don't get confused between the person AB and the position AB. All three of them start running simultaneously on the track. Arjun and Cherry run in clockwise direction at 3 and 4 meters per second respectively. So Cherry is running clockwise at 4 meters per second. Arjun is running clockwise at 3 meters per second, while Bhim runs in anti-clockwise direction at 5 meters per second. So Bhim is running in this direction at 5 meters per second. After how much time from the start will Cherry be equidistant from Arjun and Bhim for the first time? So Cherry has to be equidistant from Arjun and Bhim from the first time. So you can actually pick this up from the option straight. You don't need to do much. इसको भी ऑप्शन से स्टार्ट कर सकते हो 25 सेकंड में अगर देखोगे तो चेरी इज मूविंग 100 meters फर्स्ट ऑप्शन if you check 25 and beam is doing 125. But please remember, half the circle is 150. So if beam does 125 and cherry does 100, so they're going to basically cross each other and be at a distance of 75 from each other, because the total approaching distance 150 है. 150 approach हो जाएगा तो they are together, and after that they will start separating. So the remaining 25 75 distance, so they'll be at a distance of 75 from each other, and cherry has reached this point which is 100 from here. और इस पॉइंट पे अगर अगर अर्जुन को देखोगे, अर्जुन in 25 seconds is going to be 75 from this point. So अर्जुन is going to be 75 from this point. तो इधर से 75 है, और चेरी जो है वो इधर से 50 है from point A. So this is not going to give me an answer because Cherry and Bhim के बीच में the distance 75, whereas Arjun and Cherry के बीच में distance is 125. So 25 is not giving me the answer. So if I try to take let's say 50 देखते हैं क्या होगा. At 50, Cherry will do 200 in 50 seconds. Bhim will do 250 in 50 seconds. So 200 Cherry travel अगर करेगा तो Cherry's travel of 200 is going to take you to this point, 50 from A, 50 clockwise from A, and Bhim's travel of 250 is going to take him 100 here, 150 here till point B, and then another 100 here. And when Bhim goes 100 here, so Bhim is also at this point only, which is going to be that means Arjun and Cherry are together. And you can easily see that Bhim is not at the same point, so they are not equidistant at this point. So 50 is not going to be the right solution here. Then you check maybe 30. Check 30. 30 mein Cherry is doing 120. Bhim is doing 150. And this is one of the reasons why I talk about the fact that you need to be very quick with your calculations. Because अगर calculations तुम लोग slow करोगे, तो this approach will seem very very difficult to you, right? And I really don't want to get into the mathematics of this when I'm doing this. I'm quite sure that if I just calculate all these numbers, I'm going to get to the answer. And inside any aptitude exam, that's a very important this thing. So 150 ये ट्रैवल करेगा तो यहाँ पे आ जाएगा, भीम का पोजीशन ये हो जाएगा इस केस में, और चेरी का पोजीशन 120 away. So cherry will be 120 away. So the distance between Bhim and Cherry will be 120. In we are testing 30 seconds. So ये distance 30 हो जाएगा, right? And at this point, Arjun, who's traveling clockwise in 30 seconds at 3 meters per second, he's going to travel a further 90 meters. So in this case, you can see that Bhim and Cherry ka second position is 120 meters away, and Cherry is 90 meters, 30 meters from here, and further 90 meters away is Arjun. So the distance between Cherry and Arjun is also 120. So all the conditions match, and hence option B is the right answer.